Good morning and welcome to the first semi-final of the National Wheelchair Basketball League, coming to you from Shellharbour City Stadium. It's the Wollongong Rollerhawks, the Just Better Care Wollongong Rollerhawks, up against the Bridge Toyota Darwin Salties. The Salties having finished first on the ladder this season, the Rollerhawks second, both teams playing for an opportunity to move into tomorrow's grand final here. My name's Brendan Parnell. I'm joined by Campbell Fraser. Campbell, fantastic atmosphere here, and what can we expect?
I think this will be a fantastic game. I mean, these two teams are absolutely top tier in Australia, and obviously this is the only team that the Salties have dropped games to in the entire season, dropping 2 out of their 3 games in the first round that they played. So I think this will be possibly one of the most competitive games that we'll see all weekend, minus probably the gold medal. I think this will be really interesting to see what can come out of both of these teams.
Yeah, way back in June when the league commenced in round 1, the Salties were at this very venue for the first 2 of their 3-game set against Wollongong, lost both games, and then reeled off 16 in a row to get themselves to the minor premiership. As we see our 3 officials moving across, the crew chief, Blaine Krapionov, Nick Tomzik, and Paul Thrones. Both teams getting final instructions. You can probably hear the noise coming from the respective huddles. Wollongong head coach Brendan Dowler. And of course for the Salties, head coach Jason Ivinson. Assisted by Jason Bryant. Trudy Duncan, the manager of that team. Last minute instructions. Now with the Paralympics just a couple of weeks away, Campbell, we have the luxury today of seeing no fewer than 7 of the selected rollers team in action in this game. We have Sam White, Yannick Blair, Jalen Brown and Tom O'Neill-Thorne for the Salties. And on the other side, Sean Russell, Luke Popel and Tristan Knowles.
Yeah, I think that'll make what is this incredible environment and make this an incredible game, especially leading into the Paralympics. This gives them a great chance to kind of shore up their strengths, notice any weaknesses that they might have against these two teams, and really give them a good preparation into those Paralympics.
Right, almost ready to get underway. It's the Salties in the black uniforms with the orange numbers. As the ball's tossed up, the Rollerhawks in the white, and they have the first possession. Luke Popel looks at 3. It's off. Jonty Brown, the rebound. Tom O'Neill-Thorne streaking down the floor, looking at something on transition, wheels around. Inside, Jonty Brown. A couple of fakes, up, and the scoring is underway. Darwin with the first 2.
And you can see fantastic, really defined roles on the side of the Salties. Jalen Brown, after defending that shot, instantly moving into offense and kind of pushing down the floor, knowing that they have very defined roles in these teams.
Tristan Knowles drives middle. Anybody watching the league for the first time might be surprised to see Hannah Dodd there in number 9 for Wollongong as Tristan Knowles hits a 3. One of the unique features of the league. Women can play in the men's league. They come with a point deduction as well as Tom O'Neill-Thorne rolls into a long 3. That's off. Rebound deflected. Back inside. Falls to Jonty Brown. Shot off the rim. Jalen Brown out of his chair and fouled. The shot is good. 1 bonus free throw to come.
I think that's a fantastic start to see from both teams, pushing a lot of energy out into this court and leaving nothing behind.
And relentless crashing of the offensive glass there. Sign of things to come. The free throw from Jalen Brown's off, but the officials have identified somebody entering the lane early. Of course, the players in the lane can't come until the ball has left the shooter's hand. A little bit of backcourt pressure here. Elliott has the ball deflected away.
It'll be interesting to see if the Rollerhawks can put a bit of pressure against that hard defensive pressure in that press.
Knowles comes back to get that one. Settle into something in the half court. In fact, it's a three. Knowles, it's good. Home fans happy about that one.
The Salties really needing to pressure those threes. We know Tristan Knowles is happy to take those and will hit them.
Tom O'Neill-Thorne. Across to Jonty Brown. Jalen Brown with it now. Skip pass back to O'Neill-Thorne. Jonty Brown looks at three. Has a look in. Falls out. Popel the rebound. Off to Knowles. Sean Russell yet to have a touch. Stephen Elliott drives middle. Ball falls to Jalen Brown. Chewing his gum. He's off down the floor looking a lane to the basket. It's cut off. Back to O'Neill-Thorne. Yannick Blair. Back to Jalen Brown. His three is short. Sean Russell off and rolling. Collision there as players tried to set up some screening action. Foul on Jalen Brown. The second team foul in this first quarter. It's the Wheelchair National Basketball League semi-finals 1v2 coming to you from Shell Harbour City Stadium, courtesy of Wheelchair Basketball Australia and the Beluga Foundation. Fantastic supporters of the sport. Stephen Elliott cuts inside, can't get the layup to go. Tom O'Neill-Thorne the rebound.
Salties having a lot of pressure on that defense, playing very fast defense to cut out those shooters.
Jalen Brown kicks back to O'Neill-Thorne, gets it back. Ball bobbles to O'Neill-Thorne. Shot clock running down inside 5 seconds now. Jonty Brown skips. O'Neill-Thorne have to get this one up. Three. It's long. Knowles the rebound. The Rollerhawks settle into something in the half court. Screen and roll, nothing there. Knowles takes another dribble. Russell with one screen, Hannah Dodd the other. Knowles goes middle. Russell rolls, pinpoint pass, finish. Plenty of colliding in the backcourt there as people try and deny transition down the floor.
I think that's exactly what the Rollerhawks have been looking for. They know that Sean Russell getting inside in that position is exactly where he wants to shoot from.
Jalen Brown draws some contact, makes the shot go. He will go to the free throw line for a three-point play attempt. A little bit of back chat there. Referees straight onto that. With a warning. The referee's just communicating that warning to head coach Brendan Dowler. He's perfectly understanding what's going on. Officials just trying to keep a lid on things early on. Free throws off. Russell the rebound. Wollongong Hawks with a 1-point lead. 8 points to 7. Early stages, the major semi-final. Wheelchair National Basketball League. Yannick Blair at pace. Perfectly controls the rebound. Hawks by 3.
The Rollerhawks coming in with a lot of speed on that, and the Salties not shutting down that fast break.
Jalen Brown goes baseline. He's fouled by Hannah Dodd. Just the first foul for Wollongong.
I think the Salties need to find something here that isn't an outside shot. They're very confident taking those threes, but they aren't landing. at this point. They need to look for something inside.
O'Neill Thorne back to Jalen Brown. Back to O'Neill Thorne. It's another 3. It's another one. Careens harmlessly off. Tristan Knowles here, about to head to his 6th Paralympics. Drives middle. Looks around, retreats. Back to his right hand. Russell rolls. He keeps going. Perfect touch on that underhand rebound. Margin out to 5 in favour of the Rollerhawks.
And the steal from Hannah Dodd really being valuable there. Not being a stat that shows up on the sheet, but something really important to these to the Rollerhawks.
Jonty Brown looks to the heavens as that layup of his rolls exasperatingly off the rim. Knowles is off and running again, using the screen effectively. Measures the mid-range shot. Margin out to 7. The Rollerhawks really cooking. Beautiful cut, Jalen Brown. Tom O'Neill Thorne finds him under the hoop.
And that's exactly what the Salties want out of Jalen Brown. He's a very fast player. He plays aggressive, and they want him to get those inside fast breaks.
Sean Russell kicks to Knowles, cut off by Jonty Brown. Some contact in the backcourt. Stephen Elliott. Foul there by Yannick Blair. Substitution. Japanese wheelchair basketball legend Ryo Fujimoto on for the Salties, number 12.
That's one of the huge things of this this revival of this league, having international imports. It's a fantastic thing for the game.
He's immediately engaged in a bit of banter. Sean Russell as Knowles drives middle. Elliott rolls. Pinpoint pass again from Knowles. Jalen Brown, Fujimoto, back to Brown, back to Fujimoto. That metronomic shot did everything but go down. Tristan Knowles has leaked out. He'll sail to the rim and make another layup.
And a fantastic pass from Sean Russell, that long baseball pass.
Fujimoto to Blair. Blair looks inside. Finds Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown really finding his space now. Finding that speed to break down that defense on the Rollerhawk side.
Knowles inbounds to Popel, gets it back ahead to Russell. Russell back to Knowles. Fakes the 3. Lob pass to Russell. Brilliantly run. The quality of passing from Tristan Knowles is quite amazing.
So definitely his role in this team and in the Rollers.
Fujimoto with the one-hand catch finish at maximal extension. Drags the margin back to 7. 2.5 minutes remaining, first quarter of this major semi-final. Wheelchair Basketball Australia's National Wheelchair Basketball League. Coming to you from Shellharbour City Stadium, one of the homes of the Rollerhawks. And Tristan Knowles, the leader of the Rollerhawks, with the ball now. Back to Sean Russell. Uses the screen. His shot's long. Jalen Brown, the rebound for the Salties. Finds Tom O'Neill Thorne. Going left, Sean Russell shadows his manoeuvre. Back to Fujimoto. But a 3-second violation. One of the Salties not retreating out of the keyway there. The officials are normally fairly liberal with the 3-second call.
And Jalen just pointing to himself, just checking that call was on him to confirm that it wasn't on anyone else, because he would have been pretty mad if he'd missed that shot from someone else getting that call.
Knowles using multiple screens, drives middle. Elliott. And we get the reciprocal call. Just probably one pass too many there from the Rollerhawks. Sean Russell was planted in the paint.
He likes to do that. He knows exactly where he wants to shoot from, but just getting it, not getting the clock on his side.
Jalen Brown surveys his options. Tristan Knowles comes, skip past to Fujimoto on the elbow. One of his patented spots.
Oh, and a beautiful form on the veterancy inside him.
Luke Popel to Knowles. Margin just 5 at the moment for the Roller Hawks. Knowles looks around. Popel thinks about the 3. Drives baseline. Cut off by Fujimoto. Wheels back in. Shot clock running down. Russell with the ball. His shot's a touch long. Tom O'Neill-Thorne the rebound. Jalen Brown finds a seam, finds some contact, comes out of his chair, but makes the shot.
That's what he's absolutely confident in doing. That's what he likes to play. He likes to play with a little bit of contact. He wants to fall out like that and draw that foul. And he knows how to shoot those shots.
Sean Russell, but the foul there, just his first. As Coach Brendan Dowler rolls in front of us and requests a timeout. He's seen a lead that got as large as 9. Shrink down to just 3 now. The Salties, riding that 16-game winning streak, seem to have found their balance a little bit.
Yeah, and I think they've found that they don't need to take those outside shots. Those threes weren't really landing for them, but finding a few options inside, finding Jalen Brown shooting fantastic at this point, and really cutting through that Rollerhawks defense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what tactical adjustments the Rollerhawks decide to make out of this timeout. Although identifying that Jalen Brown is hurting you around the hoop and doing something about it are 2 entirely separate things.
And especially the way he plays, he can identify the position that he can get into very quickly and can force it very quickly. He moves very quickly, similar to Tristan Knowles on the other side. Actually, they play a very similar fast game, and it's very hard to defend against.
Right, as play resumes here, it's the Darwin Salties 17, trailing the Wollongong Rollerhawks 20. And there is 1 free throw to come for Jalen Brown of the Salties, who was fouled while converting that layup. Shot's a little long again. Luke Popel with the ball, drives middle. A little bit of frustration there from Tristan Knowles. He felt that Popel had driven into his space a little. Ball found its way to Russell. Nothing doing there on the layup, and we have a foul in the backcourt. Rio Fujimoto a little perplexed, and then with a wry smile, which is ever present on his very expressive face. That'll be a turnover.
We haven't seen too much come out of Luke Popel at the moment. He's quite a strong outside shooter for the Rollerhawks, but being a bit silent in this first quarter.
Of course, he was named as one of the members of the All-Star 5 at last night's awards dinner, held prior to the final. Sean Russell inside. There is that man, Popel. His shot falls tantalisingly off the rim. Russell, the touch pass back to Popel as he rolls backward. And the time expires. He was well aware that was the end of the quarter coming up. Managed to get the shot away. It fell just off the rim. But there it is, 1 quarter in the books. Wollongong Rollerhawks 20, Darwin Salties 17.
Yeah, I think this is a really good showing of both teams. Obviously, the Salties struggling a little bit at the start there with a few shots that they weren't too comfortable taking. But really, the Rollerhawks showing that they deserve a position here, and they could take out the gold if they keep playing the way they are now.
Yeah, so the way the format works this weekend, 10 games in total between the men's and women's leagues. This is the 1v2 playoff with the winner to go directly to tomorrow's grand final. Also to be held here at Shell Harbour. For the loser, there's an opportunity in the preliminary final this afternoon, or this evening at 7 p.m. That game will be available on KO Freebies. Wheelchair Basketball Australia broadcast.
It's off the rim there. Testing his shot early on in this second. 16-14 is the score. That's in. We'll change that. It's 16-15.
Yep, tight one like we thought it would be in the third, fourth playoff here, or third, four, heading to the prelims.
They're ready to work for it, Tracy.
They are.
Oh, look at that for a little shot attempt there from Norris. Ball is out.
I think it was actually...
A little bit more come out of Tom. He's a fantastic player. He plays very fast and he's a really good outside shooter, but hasn't done too much here.
He's almost being invited to take that three-point shot there, as is Jalen Brown. Ball back to Blair. His mid-range attempt is short. Knowles going the other way for the Roller Hawks. Weaves around. Strategic lob pass into Russell. His shot's long. Rebound Elliott's deflected away. The ball will stay with Wollongong.
And that's a dangerous position. Sean Russell likes to be in that position. He likes to sit inside, and a very rare miss in that position.
Popel takes the inbound back to Knowles. A chair collision just above the free throw line. Knowles examining the double screen. Back to Russell on the free throw line. His shot's a little long. He's struggling to find his range on the last couple. O'Neill Thorne down the floor to Fujimoto. Looks at the rolls into that three-point shot. It careens out of bounds. As we see Brett Stibner's onto the floor for the Roller Hawks. Sean Russell will take a breather. Luke Popel running the point guard responsibilities for the Roller Hawks. Back to Tristan Knowles. He examines the ball, maybe drives it off a fraction. Weaves right, then left. Back to Popel for three. Catches every part of the rim. Out. Jalen Brown the rebound.
And Knowles doing very well there just before he made that pass to make contact so the defenders couldn't jump that three.
Tom O'Neill Thorne rolls into his own three. As predicted, that's good to tie up the scores at 20.
That's exactly what I wanted to see come out of him, get on the floor and make some action happen.
Knowles going the other way. Hannah Dodd providing the screening action there. Pass inside to Popel. He draws some contact and gets the roll. Those 2 points will count. Luke Popel will head to the free throw line. That's the second foul on Rio Fujimoto. He's a little bemused again.
I think he thought that contact was pretty clean, but referees have all the angles.
He certainly has a fantastic way of expressing what he's feeling to the officials, which is completely respectful and full of fun. Tom O'Neill Thorne coming the other way. Stephen Elliott assessed as having fouled there. Jalen Brown out of his chair, flips himself back up. Lost a wheel as well. There'll be a quick replacement, I'd suggest.
A little pit stop. This is not uncommon at all to have wheels have issues happen, especially after hard contact like that, and he'll grab his spare and just put that on very quickly.
Rio Fujimoto takes that wheel on the sideline. Jalen Brown looking around. One wheel's offered. Second one coming now. That'll be snapped straight back on. A la Formula One pit stop. And away we go. Ball's inbounded to Jalen Brown. Jonty Brown, far side of the floor. Tom O'Neill-Thorne rolls into another three. That's good.
Rollerhawk's going to have to change something up on that defense to jump him very early. He's way too confident on those 3-point shots.
Salties get their noses in front. 23-22. Early stages, second quarter. National Wheelchair Basketball League Finals as the Wollongong Rollerhawks retake the lead.
And that's what we've seen from Popel through the season. He's a fantastic outside shooter, and people don't jump him enough. And he'll take those points easily.
O'Neill-Thorne, Johnny Brown surveying his options. Measures the shot and makes it. Sam White providing the screen there. Stibners kicks ahead. Tristan Knowles always seems to examine the ball when he picks it up. He finds Stibners. The long range two is good. And back and forth we go. Rollerhawks by one, 26-25. Tick under 7 minutes remaining, second quarter. Tom O'Neill-Thorne, another three. Tristan Knowles, the rebound. Beautiful roll, Stephen Elliott. Almost slipped that screen. Tristan Knowles finds him.
That's a fantastic play. You know that you have to jump Tristan Knowles. He will take those threes, and just on that time, faking that three and passing it inside.
Almost a ghost screening action. Jalen Brown out of his chair. Both benches appealing for a foul. The officials have determined that that's incidental contact. Some animated discussion going on. Jalen Brown with the skip pass to Jonty Brown. He drives baselines, cut off, hook pass back to Tom O'Neill-Thorne. He rolls into another three. Stibners the rebound, finds Hannah Dodd, kicks ahead, Stephen Elliott. He's cut off by Jonty Brown. Tristan Knowles on the move. Luke Popel goes with the underhand scoop. Rollerhawks by 5.
Popel playing a lot better here. I like that action out of the Rollerhawks, playing very fast. Both teams playing very fast.
O'Neill-Thorne across to Jonty Brown. Back to O'Neill-Thorne. Looked like he wasn't watching for a second. He wheeled back around and found it. Jonty Brown looks at three. That's short. Luke Popel, the rebound. Kicks ahead to a streaking Tristan Knowles. He looks at what screenings, actions are available for him. Comes back. Extreme mobility. Stibners finds his way to a mid-range spot. Back to Popel. Calmly measures it. Little short. Scrambles after the rebound, but can't get there in time.
And a rare miss at that range for Popel. That's exactly where he wants to be shooting from.
So we see the Rollerhawks going to their bench. Nick Scott in 4. And Jarrett Emini in 12 coming on, along with Sean Russell. As there's a timeout coming. The Salties want to have a chat about things. They managed to get their noses in front what seems like just a minute ago, and now they find themselves trailing by 5, 30-25.
Yeah, this is a difficult position for the Salties to be in. They're not quite finding anything anything too consistent, and certainly can't lock down the oppressive offense of the Rollerhawks.
How much do you think the experience comes into play in situations like this? The Rollerhawks, a storied franchise in the league. The Salties having not as long a history and having collected a number of star players this season. A fantastic effort by the organisation to be able to recruit, attract sponsors and get themselves to the top of the ladder.
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing, especially for the Rollerhawks. They've got a lot of experienced players and coaching staff behind them that just have a little more, I guess, consistency, especially in finals where the stress of the finals might be getting to the Salties a little bit. With a team that's not quite as experienced in terms of the National League, certainly with players that are vastly experienced, but just maybe those jitters of a first game in the finals.
Of course, the loser of this game will have a second chance this evening in the 7 p.m. preliminary final. All games this weekend available either on YouTube or KO Freebies. Wheelchair Basketball Australia having done a great job, along with their lead supporter, the Beluga Foundation, to organise streaming of every game this weekend for your viewing pleasure. As Tom O'Neill-Thorne gets us underway, fakes the handoff inside to Jonty Brown. They've certainly designed that play out of the timeout. The fake handoff. Jonty Brown just snuck his way in from along the baseline. He was fouled.
And that's what we've been waiting to see Jonty Brown do. That's where he should be sitting on this team. He plays as a very tall high pointer and kind of mirrors the role that Sean Russell plays of posting up inside the paint. And he's been a little bit quiet, but now we're seeing him firing.
So you mentioned high pointer, Campbell. You might explain just a little bit about the points classification and the number of points available on the floor and the visual for the viewer of the different heights of the players in the chairs.
Yeah, so you have a classification system in wheelchair basketball from 1 to 4.5. Every player gets a classification, that being based on their mobility and the condition that they have. So 1 point players being the lowest mobility, generally full-time chair users. And your 4.5s are generally amputees or similar things who will sit very high, and they're your forwards, they're your shooters like Sean Russell here.
Sean Russell makes a layup to push the lead out to 6. There's been just the one free throw on that previous trip for the Salties. Russell answering with the layup. Jalen Brown inside, a catch and pass all in one motion from Tom O'Neill-Thorne. Ball spills off to Sam White, who gets his scoring underway.
And it's really valuable for the Salties to have a low point player like Sam White who can take that shot and be the Salties knowing that he can hit those shots.
Yeah, Sam White coming in as a 1 point player, invaluable, as you say. Sean Russell's layup somehow doesn't find its way into the basket. Jonty Brown off and running. O'Neill-Thorne cutting through the middle of the paint. Great screen from Sam White there. Back to O'Neill-Thorne. He was open for a fraction of a second. Back to Jonty Brown. Gets his elbow set. And the lead's back to just 2 for the Rollerhawks.
Jonty Brown showing that he can shoot from any position. He's very confident on his shooting.
Tristan Knowles carefully scanning what defence is in front of him and behind him. Stivner's shot fake, drive, goes glass. Jalen Brown, the long arms with the rebound. O'Neill-Thorne, no look pass. Jalen Brown, his short bank shot won't go. Knowles forces it out of the backcourt. Nick Scott. Across to Stivner's, back to Knowles, thinks about 3, drives down the right side, interior pass, finds Stivner's, who's fouled. That foul before the shooting motion, the ball will be from the baseline.
And possibly a smart foul there to get it before the shooting motion, just to reset that defense. It was looking a little bit chaotic for the Salties.
Neither team in foul trouble thus far in this second quarter. The Stivner's with the long two. It's off. O'Neill Thorne the rebound to Jalen Brown. He looks ahead. He's thinking a long pass. Finds Jonty Brown. His shot's off. Knowles acutely aware of what defensive pressure's coming from behind him and in front of him. Wheels around. Thinks shot this time. It's a little long. Jonty Brown, the rebound for Darwin. Jalen Brown wheels around, comes left, thinks layup, bobbles out. Stivner's the rebound for Wollongong. Beautiful exchange of passing. Just a little too hard for Tristan Knowles there. And I think we're going to see another timeout. Wollongong taking their second and final timeout in this second quarter. It's 32, the Wollongong Rollerhawks. Just holding that lead over the Darwin Salties, 30.
Yeah, the Salties coming out in this second quarter really, really hard. I think the Rollerhawks not quite prepared for that speed and that aggression that they came out with. And just looking a little bit messy on that defensive side. The communication not quite coming through as strong. And yeah, allowing the Salties to catch up a fair bit here.
Wollongong coach Brendan Dowler giving some rather animated instructions. He has the whiteboard out. Over on the Darwin side, things are a little calmer, ostensibly.
Dowler certainly an animated coach on the bench as well, while the player's going, certainly not afraid to speak his mind.
Our officials, Blaine Krapionov, Nick Tomzik and Paul Thrones, call the players back in. Blaine Krapionov, the crew chief, to hand the ball off to Tom O'Neill Thorne. Just 95 seconds remaining in this first half, an engrossing first half from Shell Harbour City Stadium. O'Neill Thorne, pass. Jalen Brown, he pats his chest to indicate my fault. It's turned over. Brett Stivners to inbound for Wollongong, gets it back. Kicks ahead to Sean Russell. Tristan Knowles tries to set a screen there. Back to Brett Stivners. Beautiful pass to Nick Scott. He just found himself a little too far under the rim. Tom O'Neill Thorne surely will look at three here. Yep. Seemed that Wollongong lost him a little bit in transition. Darwin has their noses back in front again.
And the Salties really showing strong here, and Rollerhawks need to jump those threes.
Brett Stivners, a horrified look on his face as he misses the layup. In a couple of seconds, the ball's back down the other end. Jonty Brown's making a layup for Darwin. Ball ahead in transition to Russell. Across to Knowles. Knowles wheels around. Right, left, circling to Brett Stivners. He's cut off. Tries to use the screen. Shot clock running down in the background. Tries to go behind his back. It's all a little too much, the defensive pressure.
Tom O'Neill Thorne pretty happy with that turnover, thinking his defense was pretty strong there.
Jared Emini is out of his chair. Got a small conference happening in front of us now as mass substitutions in for the Rollerhawks. Tom O'Neill Thorne offering a few ideas to the Wollongong bench, all in good fun. Inbound to Jonty Brown. Back to O'Neill Thorne, looks at three. Ooh. Almost down. Had to take that shot, the time expiring in the first half. Brendan Dowler appealing for a charge. I think it's all in jest. But remarkably, the Darwin Salties have managed to drag themselves up in the last couple of minutes, and they hold a 3-point lead, 35-32 at half-time.
Yeah, this is a fantastic show for them. I think their shooting coming out very strong. Obviously, Tom and Neil Thorne with those threes being very difficult for the Rollerhawks to deal with, and the Rollerhawks just missing a few key shots, and suddenly the the scores have turned.
A reminder, you're watching the National Wheelchair Basketball League Finals, coming to you live and direct from Shell Harbour City Stadium. This is the one of two semi-finals being played simultaneously, 1-2. It's the Darwin Salties riding a 16-game winning streak into the finals, taking on the Wollongong Rollerhawks, the only team to have conquered them this year. At halftime, it's 35-32 in favour of the Salties, and we'll be back shortly for the second half. Welcome back for the second half of this semi-final in the Wheelchair National Basketball League. Coming to you from Shellharbour City Stadium. Just seen a bit of a conference out at the middle of the floor between the various players from both teams. All well acquainted with each other. At half-time, it's the Darwin Salties, who trailed for much of the first half, Campbell, who find themselves in front by 3, but really it's been a seesawing affair and neither team able to get away by any significant margin.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we've seen when these two teams played each other nearing the start of the season. Those games being very, very difficult for both teams. So I think this will be a very interesting outcome either way. I think it would be very difficult to call it at this point whether it would go Salty's way or not.
And these two teams playing for the right to move directly into tomorrow's grand final of the National League. It's the first time the National League's been held in a full home and away format since 2022. Prior to that, the COVID years, nothing was held. It's a fantastic initiative by Wheelchair Basketball Australia, who've set themselves up as the managers of the men and women's wheelchair leagues. And both competitions to be decided this weekend. 10 fantastic games, 2 of which we've seen already in the Women's League. The annual awards night last night. And a healthy crowd on hand here at Shellharbour. Most of them are hoping that the hometown Rollerhawks can find a way to get themselves directly to tomorrow's grand final.
It's a fantastic thing to see for the National League, seeing such a crowd get around the finals. I think it's a really good atmosphere out here.
And a host of members of Australia's Paralympic men's team, the Rollers, who will be heading off in a couple of weeks to Paris. One of whom, Tristan Knowles, gets the ball inbound to get us started for the second half. It's the Rollerhawks in the white uniforms, the Darwin Salties in the black. Ball goes middle. Elliott finds Luke Popel. An extended 2-point shot from him.
And that's what was missing a little bit in that first quarter. I think Luke Popel's a very strong shooter and they need to utilise him more.
Tom O'Neill finds Japanese legend Ryo Fujimoto. He wheels around, drives baseline, gets the soft touch banker. Luke Popel off and running for the Rollerhawks. Back to Tristan Knowles. He uses the screen from Elliott. Drives right, looks around, back onto his left hand. Hannah Dodd comes with a second screen. Thinks middle, back to Popel. Shot clock down to 6. Sean Russell in the block. Kicks, passes a little high. The Knowles and out of bounds. All sorts of hijinks going on in the front court. People battling for positions with their chairs. Fujimoto fakes the 3. He's so smooth. Wheels back around, takes the 3. Amazing fluency.
It's fantastic to see such a high point player take those threes as well. He's shown he has range. He has the ability to shoot at any range at this point.
Tristan Knowles drives middle, cut off by Sam White. His shot's a little long. Hannah Dodd, the offensive rebound, back to Luke Popel. Shot clock resets to 14. Popel drives baseline. Looks for Dodd on the give and go. Dodd comes back to the left hand. Can't quite measure that up. A really difficult shot. Ball skips back to Fujimoto. Surely he'll let that go, and he does. And it's nothing but net.
I'm regretting my complaints about the Salties taking threes at this point. I think they've found exactly who they need to shoot through.
It's like a little bonfire has just erupted, and it's Ryo Fujimoto at the centre of it as the pass from Knowles sails out of bounds. A couple of substitutions coming in for the Rollerhawks. Head coach Brendan Dowler would understandably be concerned this margin's ballooned out to 9 points in the blink of an eye. Nick Taylor now on in 14. along with Brett Stibners in 11 for the Roller Hawks. As Fujimoto back on that very same piece of real estate from which he hit 2 threes the last 2 possessions. Back, long range 2, head fake, back to O'Neill Thorne. O'Neill Thorne looks for Jonty Brown, who's snuck in behind the screen on the baseline. Stibners the rebound. He's bumped from behind, out of his chair. Just gathering himself there.
That's a very dangerous fall. It was smart of Jonty Brown to just stop moving.
Brett Stibners did take a nasty fall there. He's managed to get himself up.
It's not a position that you want to fall backwards onto another chair.
Just dusting himself off. Tristan Knowles talking some strategy and checking that his teammate is okay. He moves the ball down the floor. Screen from Sean Russell, who rolls. Knowles looks at 3. The long shot's just not falling at the moment for the Roller Hawks. Tom O'Neill Thorne has leaked out, but he's happy to push the ball back and take some time. Fujimoto, all sorts of trickery going on there. He looks at another 3. It does. A couple of ceremonial laps of honour. Coach Brendan Dowler has seen enough. Margin out to 12. Darwin Salties 46. Wollongong Roller Hawks 34. The Fujimoto show has forced that timeout, Campbell.
Showing exactly why he was such a mainstay of the Japanese Paralympic team for years. He's got quite the fantastic shot behind him. He plays hard, he plays aggressive, and nothing seems to be rocking him off his comfortable shot at this point.
It's almost like he caught a wave in surfing parlance, and once he caught the first one, he was happily looking for the second one and sailing off. I don't know if that's an apt analogy, but it all happened so suddenly, and he was so calmly assertive.
Fujimoto with 15 points at this point, and I think a majority of them coming through those threes.
It's probably noticeable that Tom O'Neill Thorne potentially had an advantage on the previous transition trip, but knowing how Fujimoto was playing in the previous 60 seconds, he was happy to retreat the ball out, get it to that hot hand, and Fujimoto did the rest.
And the Salties knowing exactly how they want to set up that 3, getting him in the most comfortable position. There was no defense anywhere near him, and happy to take that 3 very comfortably.
Right, so Nick Taylor gets us underway. 12-point hole for the Roller Hawks now. Taylor drives left, looks inside. Russell, a design play out of that timeout. Russell doesn't make it on the first attempt, but manages to get the second one to go. Tom O'Neill Thorne with the ball. Tristan Knowles picks him up. Back to Fujimoto. Catch and shoot. Almost surprised to see that one not go down.
Wasn't quite long range enough being that 3.
Knowles looks at 3. Drives, cut off. Back to Stibners. Stibners to Russell. He makes another layup.
And that's exactly the play that the Roller Hawks have used against the other teams in the league, setting outside shots, faking them, and then looking for Sean Russell inside.
Yeah, a little back cut that he makes from the weak side of the play. Jonty Brown back to Fujimoto. He's hotly guarded there. Tom O'Neill Thorne drives baseline, turns it over. Sean Russell. Tristan Knowles. 2-on-1. Pass fake. Rio Fujimoto assessed as getting the slightest of contact on Tristan Knowles. The referee very well positioned to make that call. And that may be the only thing to stop the Fujimoto show, the third personal foul for him midway through this third quarter, as you can hear the very audible horn from the bench indicating that Rio will sub out.
Such a difficult position to put him in, knowing that he's shooting so well, but just catching a few too many fouls there.
Tristan Knowles exchanges a little joke with Jonty Brown before attempting and missing that first free throw. He makes the second. Margin back to 7. Darwin Salties 46. Roller Hawks 39, halfway through the third quarter. National Wheelchair Basketball League semi-finals coming to you from Shoalhaven City Stadium. It's Tom O'Neill-Thorne, he of Rollers fame. Tries that long three. It's off. Brett Stibner's the rebound. Nick Taylor on to Knowles, to Stibner's. Layup. Here come the Roller Hawks. Hannah Dodd and Tristan Knowles in concert pick up Jalen Brown. He looks across the floor. Tom O'Neill-Thorne uses the screen, kicks it back to Brown. Jalen Brown. He finds Jonty Brown cutting middle. Nice layup.
The Salties not really until that point finding any inside shots, and very comfortable to wait that time out and find that inside shot that they know they are very happy to take with Jonty inside.
Nick Taylor back to Tristan Knowles. The Roller Hawks look to find an answer. Knowles drives baseline. The softest of touches. The ball sits there for a second and falls in.
The Salties can't let him get easy points like that. That was a little too comfortable of a roll there.
Margin back to 5. Tom O'Neill-Thorne across to Jonty Brown. Back to O'Neill-Thorne. Brown with the screen. Back to Jalen Brown. Tom O'Neill-Thorne runs a ghost screen across the front. Jalen Brown expertly drives middle, keeping the ball away from the defenders. They're high above his head. Makes a layup.
That's the drive that he likes. He doesn't like posting up inside, but he likes those fast breaks that he can kind of break down that defense and get them before they realize he's in.
Tristan Knowles lined the seams up. Made the three.
Tristan Knowles reminding us why he has the highest percentage three-point shot in the league so far.
Tom O'Neill-Thorne thinks about three. Tristan Knowles closes out on him. Ball's loose inside. Brett Stibner's with the highest hands there. Tristan Knowles off and running again. Cut off by Jalen Brown. Goes inside. Draws some contact. Jalen Brown not happy. Just his second personal foul.
Jalen Brown thinking that foul was a little bit soft, but if that's the way the referees are going to call it, then he has to adapt to that and move on.
3 team fouls this quarter for the Salties. The Roller Hawks yet to commit a foul. Our crew chief, Blaine Krapinov, just ensuring the shot clock is reset to 14. We're sitting a second above there. Ball to be inbounded by the Roller Hawks. They trail by just 4. A little over 3 minutes remaining, the third quarter. National Wheelchair Basketball League semi-final. Tristan Knowles, bit of contact there from Yannick Blair. Ball's comes loose. Jonty Brown goes baseline, finds Jalen Brown. He makes the layup, some contact on his chair. And the officials have had enough of the back chat. There's been a technical foul assessed as well. So the layup is good. And the technical foul assessed on Brett Stibner's. That will result in bonus free throw. Tom O'Neill-Thorne will roll up to the line to take that free throw. And swish it. And it will now be Jalen Brown, who made the layup and was fouled making the layup, coming up to shoot his bonus free throw. So the technical foul just resulting in 1 free throw, an interjection into the game.
And a bad position for the Roller Hawks to be in to allow those 2 free throws to go.
Yeah, the margin just creeps away again. Jalen Brown adds a little bit of salt into the wound there, making it a 4-point play effectively. Tristan Knowles fakes the three, drives baseline, kicks inside. Sean Russell with the one-hander. Sees it, just can't quite get the touch. Tom O'Neill-Thorne's racing the other way. Tristan Knowles screened off. Jonty Brown, layup. Margin back to 10 in the blink of an eye.
Salty's getting everything here, everything going their way.
Knowles gets some contact from Yannick Blair. He raises his hand. That's the fourth team foul. Every subsequent foul now will see the Roller Hawks head to the line for 2 free throws. As the ball's inbounded, Nick Taylor uses the Stibness screen. Long two's available. He looks at it. It's a little too long. Jonty Brown the rebound. Jalen Brown, expert outlet pass. Tom O'Neill-Thorne guarded by Sean Russell, but Jalen Brown's out of his chair in the backcourt. Tom O'Neill-Thorne identifies that to the officials. And they call a halt in play. Just 2 minutes remaining. A 10-point lead for the Darwin team. Jalen Brown's three. Sails off the back of the rim. Hannah Dodd with the inbound back to Taylor. Russell not really watching that one. The bench alert him to it. He manages to get a fingertip on it. Back to Tristan Knowles. He fakes, drives middle. Nick Taylor. Shot looked good in flight. A little long. Tom O'Neill-Thorne streaking the other way. It's cut off by Knowles. Looks inside. Jalen Brown blocked from behind. Gets it back and converts.
The Rollhawks being very safe, pulling back their defense completely, not allowing anyone to stay up, knowing that the Salties like that fast break.
The baseball pass in. Tristan Knowles trying that second long pass. It's cut off by the ever-alert Tom O'Neill. He finds Jalen Brown. The defence has contacted his arm while he was shooting. He's made the shot and will have a chance for another 3-point play.
Hannah Dodd not too happy with that contact, but
yeah, a little shake of the head. Her second foul. Jalen Brown makes them pay, and the margin amazingly has slipped out to 15. It's the Darwin Salties 61, the Roller Hawks 46. Tristan Knowles, favoured baseline spot. Ball does everything but fall. Just those little things rolling the Salties' way at the moment. O'Neill-Thorne, well aware, is a picture of composure. Back to Jalen Brown. He's unguarded at the 3-point line. Back to Jonty Brown. Cuts, repositions. Tom O'Neill-Thorne seeing the shot clock running down. Forces a three. It's off. He apologises.
And Jalen Brown not too confident on that. Had an open three, but thinking better of it, knowing that his last shot didn't go, and he probably has better shooting opportunities.
He's been so effective inside. I can understand his hesitation. Tristan Knowles kicks it across. The Roller Hawks can pretty much use the last part of the shot clock here, just a 5-second differential. Tristan Knowles cuts middle, makes a layup inside the last 10 seconds of the third quarter. One chance for the Salties to manufacture something. Long pass was caught by Jonty Brown, but Blake Krapianov has identified an offensive foul. Jonty Brown doesn't seem too perturbed by that call, just in how he was sealing Campbell to...
Yeah, sometimes that contact comes through, and it's the referees are very, very aware of that contact, especially on the low point players. They can kind of get away with it sometimes, so referees are pretty vigilant.
Attempted full court pass there, took a deflection. Just 0.6 remaining on the clock at the moment. Wollongong's pretty much a catch and shoot situation. Hannah Dodd gets something off. Appeals for a foul. Nothing called. That's three-quarter time. The Darwin Salties 61. Wollongong Rollerhawks 48. And certainly some frustration as their early lead and then the battling for lead disappeared really quickly. Darwin put the Jets on.
Yeah, I think that the scores coming through, the Salties just collecting a few points very quickly, and the Rollerhawks losing a bit of their composure, their shots not going and then turning over, not getting those rebounds. I think they just need to pull together a little bit more, kind of recollect and refine what they had in that first quarter.
Right, so it's sitting close to the huddle. You may be able to hear in the background the Just Better Care Wollongong Rollerhawks. Head coach Brendan Dowler really needs to pull a few rabbits out of his hat in this last quarter. For the Darwin Salties, they are operating with the support of Bridge Toyota. They would be pretty happy with themselves, I'd imagine, at this point. They've dominated the latter part of the league. We mentioned earlier winning their last 16 games in a row. It's probably quite a shock to their system to be behind by up to 9 points early on, but they've certainly managed to stabilise things.
Yeah, and I think the Salties haven't had quite as many obvious issues that the Rollerhawks have had. They've had a couple passes that have gone awry, but the Salties, where they've lacked is really just a couple of shots haven't gone, things like that, but they haven't had major failings or things that have gone kind of wayward like the Rollerhawks have, and that's where I think that composure really comes back into it.
Of course, if you're watching now, you'll likely be keen to watch tonight. It's the two preliminary finals back-to-back at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. available on KO Freebies. In the men's game at 7 p.m, it'll be the loser of this contest taking on the winner of the other semi-final, which is going on at the moment between the Perth Wheelcats and the Manly Wheel Eagles.
Should note, Jalen Brown currently with a double-double, 21 points, 13 rebounds, having a fantastic game, finding his fast breaks inside, those little fast pushes that are really catching the Rollerhawks defense off guard.
Yeah, his effort combined with the composure of Tom O'Neill-Thorne and the spark of Rio Fujimoto, who has the ball at the moment, has been a very potent recipe. Jalen Brown again hesitates to the three. Wollongong happy to give him that shot. He's going to have to take this one. It's almost there. Fujimoto from nowhere appears in a massive Rollerhawk chairs, gets the rebound.
And you could see Fujimoto just pointing a little bit at the start of that play, telling them what to do. And he knew as soon as that three was going up, he knew where he wanted to be and get that board and put those points back.
Luke Popel back on the floor for Wollongong. To Tristan Knowles. Drives middle. Fujimoto cuts him off. Knowles fakes and makes. Some competitive byplay with chairs. Tristan Knowles and Rio Fujimoto in the backcourt. Fujimoto calls for the ball. A little set motion action here. Ball back to Tom O'Neill-Thorne for three. That's a little long. Sean Russell the rebound. Finds Luke Popel. He's cut off by Tom O'Neill-Thorne. Clever bounce pass to Hannah Dodd. Finds Tristan Knowles. He sails across to the right wing. Looks at the mid-range shot. A little short. Jalen Brown the rebound.
Jalen thinking about that long pass.
Jalen Brown drives middle, bounce pass, gets it back. Great exchange of passing. The layup doesn't go. Sean Russell fouled Jalen Brown, attempting to knock that ball away. In fact, a foul assist on Luke Popel. There was multiple pieces of contact there. Darwin ball from the baseline. Their lead at 13. Yannick Blair into Fujimoto. He wheels away, comes round, Looks at the mid-range shot. Fantastic rotation on that shot. Marching out to 15.
It's amazing that the Salties were able to come back so much without Fujimoto, and now he's showing why he deserves to be back on the floor even with those 3 fouls.
Beautiful hook pass inside. Finds Russell to Elliott. Unfortunately, he can't make the layup. Superbly run play. Jaylen Brown comes careening down the middle, gets the pass, is fouled, out of his chair. Luke Popel the foul, and I think we have another technical foul. That's on Luke Popel as well. Clearly not too happy with that foul call. The officials have been quite consistent in reminding the players that there was a warning issued earlier in the first quarter that they had had enough of repeated disputing of decisions. So the technical taken, it's now the 2 free throws for Jaylen Brown, who was fouled shooting. He misses the first. And the second. Tristan Knowles the rebound. Knowles gets a screen, just can't make that go. Elliott the offensive rebound, back to Knowles. Baseline. He's trying to assert himself now, really taking on the shooting responsibility. Jaylen Brown just too quick in that chair. Misses the layup, down out of his chair. He's up again. Officials won't stop in this instance. Tristan Knowles, baseline, back to Russell. He draws some contact. Sam White with the foul, got his arm tangled up.
And the Rollerhawks just looking a little bit more reinvigorated here, having a lot more energy and a lot more fight for the ball.
Still plenty of time remaining. A little over 7 minutes in this fourth quarter of the semi-final. Wheelchair National Basketball League. Coming to you from Shell Harbour City Stadium. Sean Russell misses that. Free throw. The margin sits at 11. The Darwin Salties 65. The Wollongong Rollerhawks 54. The winner going straight through to tomorrow's grand final. As Jaylen Brown makes another mid-range shot. For the loser, it's back at 7 p.m. tonight to take on the winner of the other semi-final between Manly and Perth.
Jaylen Brown really finding everything here. It's finding his rhythm, and the Rollerhawks really don't have an answer for him.
Tristan Knowles, underhand layup, frustratingly rolls off the rim. Tom O'Neill-Thorne, no look pass, Jaylen Brown. Beautiful layup. Yannick Blair running the decoy there down the centre. As we see another timeout to the Rollerhawks, the margin back to 14.
Again,
that was fantastic transition play.
It's a fantastic play, and that's exactly what Jaylen Brown likes. He likes those fast breaks, and he's very confident on those shots. Obviously, we've seen him take a lot of contact, and for the most part, hit those shots even with the contact coming through. He knows exactly where he wants to play from.
And the pass from Tom O'Neill-Thorne, that he could see the various lane runners there. He had Yannick Blair running the middle lane, acting as a decoy. Jaylen Brown on the left.
Tom O'Neill-Thorne coming in now with another double-double, 10 points and 10 assists. So those passes off to Jaylen Brown really being effective in the second half.
No surprise that Tom O'Neill-Thorne was named as the WBA Player of the Year last night at the awards ceremony, also part of the All-Star 5. But yeah, it's fantastic to see so many of the rollers here competing in the league, and exciting to think what lies ahead in the next 2 weeks. in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good indication of what could come at the Paralympics. I think they've got a lot to show here, and really showing that they could go quite far at the Paralympics there.
Oh, Tom O'Neill-Thorne, while we're speaking of him, manages to steal that inbound pass. Back to Yannick Blair. He can't get hold of it. Rio Fujimoto almost up out of his chair there, denying the pass. Popel is forced out to the right-hand wing. Knowles comes back around. Russell inside, the one-hand catch. Can't get it to go. O'Neill-Thorne the rebound. Drives middle, finds some contact, does a couple of spins. And that is, in fact, the 4th team foul this quarter by Wollongong.
I think Tom O'Neill-Thorne just appealing there whether he was in a layup motion, not necessarily shooting, but being prepared to.
Jalen Brown takes the inbound pass back to Tom O'Neill-Thorne. He's been happy to coordinate affairs from the point guard role as he then spins around and hits a three.
Salty's wasting no opportunities there, being very happy to take those threes and hitting a lot of them at this point.
Margin out to 18. Just 5 minutes remaining. Tristan Knowles drives baseline, makes a layup, back to 16, but still a sizable task in front of Wollongong. As Jalen Brown drives, uses the screen. Rio Fujimoto finds contact, pumps his fist as he makes the banking short shot, and will go to the free throw line for one bonus. He kisses his bicep there just to demonstrate. I think that he's having a good time as much as anything.
He's one of the more entertaining players to watch.
A little bit of movement in his chair there as he takes that attempt. It may have hit a part of the stanchion, but anyway, it's off. Tristan Knowles, the rebound. Drives across. He's heavily guarded. Gets his way inside the paint. Off to Hannah Dodd. She sees her layup roll frustratingly off the rim. Sean Russell can't get it to go. Back to Popel. He's fouled. Yannick Blair with the foul there. Sean Russell just checking with one of the officials, asking for some clarification on potential contact on a couple of those interior shots.
We've had a couple of those questions raised in this game, but players still being willing to move on and get the game going.
Luke Popel drives baseline, finds Sean Russell. Sean Russell's off again. Frustrating little period for him at the moment. Tom O'Neill-Thorne's flying the other way, wheels around, thinks layup, makes it.
Proving that he's not just a three-point threat, that he's a threat from any position.
Yannick Blair gets a hand in there, rips it away. It's another turnover. Plenty of contact going on inside the paint. But in fact, our officials just checking how much time should be on the shot clock. I think it's 20 seconds. And they're still jockeying for position, even though the ball is not even remotely close to being inbounded. It's been a feature of this morning's contest as we see some substitutions for the Roller Hawks. Nick Scott, Jared Emeny and Brett Stibner's about to come back into the contest.
And this could be the change that the Roller Hawks need, playing another really tall high pointer through Brett Stibner's.
tall order with just 4 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. The deficit sitting at 20.
But if there was a team in this league that could take back that lead, I think it would be the Rollerhawks.
Long inbound pass back to O'Neill Thorne. He thinks about the three. Jalen Brown has himself camped in the corner. He does take the three. It's off. Long rebound to Tom O'Neill Thorne. Mr. Fujimoto. Series of fakes. Back to Tom O'Neill Thorne. Hits another three, and that may have, if you'll pardon the pun, salted this one away.
And a beautiful passage of play there. A lot of communication without communicating between the Salties, and kind of knowing their play and knowing their movements.
Brett Stivners with some fancy ball work there across to Tristan Knowles. He's cut off by Fujimoto. Shot clock runs down inside 5 seconds now. There's Knowles, long two. It's off. Jalen Brown the rebound. Tom O'Neill Thorne is not in any particular hurry. Understandably. Time is their friend at the moment. Jalen Brown has his shot blocked. Those long arms able to corral the rebound and make another layup. And the Salties look pretty much home now. 81-56 for the Rollerhawks. It's not over. They'll be back at 7 p.m. tonight by the looks of things. As Sean Russell has fouled before making that layup.
Collecting his fourth.
Rio getting his fourth. He may be looking for a way to get off the court and take a rest.
Getting a little bit tired at this point.
Some banter.
He is certainly a veteran on this side and has played many games, many hard games like this. So
he has been a fantastic addition to the resumption of the league in Australia. Pass inbound to Stivners. Knowles looking for the handoff, peels away, gets himself down into the paint, draws some contact. He will head to the free throw line for 2 shots. And as predicted, Rio Fujimoto does make his way to the bench along with Tom O'Neill Thorne. Will Crooks in for his first action tonight in number 7 for the Salties. Tristan Knowles makes the first. And rolls the second in. Jalen Brown inbounds to Yannick Blair, gets it back. Salties understandably happy to take their 24 seconds there, although Jonty Brown drives baseline, balances himself, makes a layup.
And that's fantastic composure to get himself into that position that he liked, not take it too fast, and make sure that those shots go in.
Brett Stivners, bit of fancy chair work there, round Tristan Knowles for 3. Pretty much the story of the second half for Wollongong. That one just rimming out. Salties advance the ball as the clock ticks down. Under 2 minutes remaining. It's been a superb performance from the Darwin Salties, cementing their position on top of the ladder. And they will move through to tomorrow's grand final. Baseline drive, Crooks, not realising the shot clock was running down. Always difficult coming onto the floor in the last few minutes to get yourself into the flow of the game.
Yeah, and especially with the Salty side, a few players who have been on the majority of the time, really trying to slot into the energy and also the tiredness that they have and kind of match their rhythm.
Tristan Knowles uses the screen back to Stivners. With a nice left-hand pass. Ball finds its way to Russell. Again, he can't make the layup. Jonty Brown rolls through some traffic, kicks it back to Jalen Brown, who took it in the chin. He's cut off. Ball's knocked away by Stibners. Just 2 seconds on the shot clock here for the Salties. Some sort of catch and launch, you would suspect. Ball goes to Jonty Brown. He does exactly that and almost makes it go.
You'd think if a team could make that that fast shot from the outside, it would be the Salties.
Brett Stibners wheeling back and forth. Uses the screen from Nick Scott. Ball goes loose inside, back to Stibners. His layup incredibly rolls around and won't go. Jalen Brown off and racing. Takes his time, back to Crooks. He spins round. Back to Jalen Brown. Fakes the three. Drives right. Back to Crooks. His spinning layup won't go. And a violation identified there by the officials. I think 3 seconds in the paint.
No stop as Jared Emini was down in the backcourt as the play will move towards him.
Anyway, academic at this stage as Brett Stibners wheels over the halfway line. The stadium goes strangely silent as the clock ticks down, as is the way at the end of most basketball games where the result has already been decided. Brett Stibners lets the ball fall harmlessly away. And the Darwin Salties, 83. The Wollongong Rollerhawks, 58. They'll move on to tomorrow's grand final. For the Rollerhawks, they've got to get things back together for a 7 p.m. game tonight. And the load of the second game on the same day, even though they're used to playing that through the regular season, is certainly has a significant effect.
Yeah, look, I think they're going to be tired going into this second game, but really I don't think this was the best showing that they've had. I think they can play better than this and could take out that preliminary final tonight.
All right, their opponents yet to be decided on the other court, but that game will take place at 7 p.m. tonight, and prior to that it's the women's preliminary final at 5 p.m. Earlier today we saw the Sydney Uni Flames get over the top of the Perth Wheelcats in the first of the women's semi-finals, and the Sydney Blues a little too good for the Queensland Comets to move through to that final tonight where they'll face the Perth Wheelcats. Both those games are available on KO Freebies. A reminder, this is Wheelchair Basketball Australia's National Wheelchair Basketball League and Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League. All the games streamed this weekend and all the information available from Wheelchair Basketball Australia. It's wba.net.au. My name's Brendan Farnell. And myself and Campbell Fraser will be back tonight to bring you the men's preliminary final.